Hey guys, welcome back to Back Sports, and I'm back with another video, and this is part 5 of the series, What Should They Do? And before we get into this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps me out a lot, and really helps me create content like this for you. So please subscribe. So today's video, we're talking about the Los Angeles Chargers and what they should do in this current offseason in order to be better in 2024. The Chargers ended the season with a 5-12 record and ended the season with 5 losses in a row. But in overall statistic wise, they had a solid season. In terms of stats, to say the least, they didn't really do well in a lot of cases when it came to pretty strong teams per se. But let's just get a deep dive into this real quick. So the teams that they really won against were Minnesota, Vegas, Chicago, Jets, New England. And what did all these teams have in common? They struggled relatively this season. And most part, they lost to a lot of important teams that they should have won. But that also poses a question of how good really is this team. And I'll be honest, it's needs a lot of improvement, especially since they had Brandon Staley as a head coach for the longest time, and it just didn't work out. Like they schematically weren't great. Defensively, they were awful. And given that they won the off season, last off season, like you put out performances like this, it could definitely be involved coaching, but also involves personnel as well. So Justin Herbert, he ended the season with 4 games of an injury, and ended with 3,134 yards. I think that's a career low. I'm not 100% sure. Let's quickly check. Career low. Let's see. I think that is yes, that's a career low for him. And in other news for a career low, Austin Eckler. This year he averaged 3.5 yards a carry with 628 yards to show for it. And he's the leading rusher for this team. He did have some good moments throughout the year, but overall it just wasn't it for this team. Keenan Allen was their only bright spot really because he got 1,243 receiving yards. The defense was also pretty atrocious for the most part, and depth wise they need to fix a lot of things when it comes to a lot of their personnel. I mean, they have a lot of expiring contracts, and oh my gosh, look at this. But yeah, they have a lot. They had Joey Bosa got hurt a lot. I mean, got a really big injury this season. Nick Williams. Uh, yeah. So before we get into that, we should look at what positions that they really need. I feel like they need cornerback for sure because that bolsters their defense up a lot more. Given that their D line isn't as strong, if they end up re-signing Khalil Mack, which is probably unlikely, um, you know, unless the Khalil Mack is willing to restructure. I think that this cornerback situation and the secondary situation needs to be addressed for sure. Um, and offensive line has been a pretty big issue throughout the season for Chargers. Herbert has been able to alleviate a lot of the miscues that happen typically with the offensive line, but it wasn't enough. It's still, let's see what the sack totals are for Justin Herbert. Um, how many sacks did he take this season? It doesn't show. Oh, he took. Well, not too bad. 29 sacks isn't terrible, but for the most part, it's something to say the least. All right, and then finally, running back is pretty important. As I mentioned earlier about Austin Eckler, we need to implement a new running back room and probably get a young running back to alleviate the pressure off of Austin Eckler if you do end up bringing him back. I'm pretty sure he's an unrestricted free agent this offseason. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. This says right here. Austin Eckler and Josh Kelly serving capable backup. And then Spiller running back room. Beef up the run game because Harbaugh. Okay. Also, Harbaugh is the new head coach, and he definitely wants a solid run game as well. And he's probably going to address that in later rounds of the draft, but we'll see what happens right there. Um, but yeah, let's see real quick. All right, now in terms of the uh picks that they have a decent amount. They have the first round pick, second round pick, third round pick, and a decent round after. So what does it look like? It's in the fifth round. They're probably going to take Brock Bowers, which I don't know if it's the right move. I think they should probably take someone in the offensive line. I already made a video about this, what they should do this upcoming offseason with their picks and what Jim Harbaugh wants. So if you want to check that video, I'll put that up put that in the description, or even there'll be a tag at the top of the video. And yeah, like I think like if you can find a way to get maybe like an offensive tackle, I know it's not ideal that you get it that early, but like see how Brock Bowers does if he's like on like not a can't miss candidate. You can definitely add that to an offensive line and use Brock Bowers as a blocking tight end for a bit. And if not, if you think like a Olu or a Joe Alt would be ideal for your offensive tackle, by all means go for it. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that they could do in terms of the draft. And what else is there? I mean, the team as a whole needs to improve in a lot of ways. And I think that by signing Jim Harbaugh to that contract and keeping him for a bunch of years and in a in the division that's insane already with Patrick Mahomes, you need to do as much as you possibly can this offseason to better it. And getting a good head coach is a good first step. A good team in Greg Roman, and I forget who else they signed. Someone from like in college, I'm pretty sure. So they signed that, and oh no, from Michigan, one of Jim Harbaugh's staff, I remember. And at the end of the day, it all really depends on what you do in free agency, and beefing up that secondary, beefing up that offensive line is going to go a long way in terms of making this team a 5-win team to a probably even 8-9 win team, like within a span of a year. But realistically speaking, do I think that they're going to make that huge jump in the first year? Probably. I mean, because think about it, you have Jim Harbaugh, who has experience in the NFL, who had a lot of experience in college, and knows how to work with building young talent. So I don't see why not the Chargers can take that next step this upcoming season. They don't have Brandon Staley anymore. They hire decent pieces in the coordinator position. It all really depends on who they hire or who they get in free agency. If you can get like a Wilkes from the Miami Dolphins, that beefs up your offensive line as well. Or like whoever hits free agency, maybe a Saquon on a cheap contract, to alleviate pressure off of Austin Eckler would be insane for this team. So yeah, that's it for this video. Please let me know down in the comments below what you guys think. Are the Chargers going to be good next year? Are the Chargers going to be bad? I want to hear you down below. So let me know down in the comments below. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.